going to talk about our next game, of course, which is the Chicago Huntsmen, once again on the main stage, taking on the Røkkr. Now, we have seen both of these teams play today already. Chicago Huntsmen really narrowly actually winning that one on the main stage there. They really need to step it up now against this Røkkr team. We're going to talk about the game fuel keys to victory, though, as we always do, and Nameless has got you guys yet again. Talk to me about the Chicago team.
Yeah, they can't rely on Scump and S&D, right? Like, they got smoked in that first search, and in that Game 5, he had to go absolutely off for them to win it. And when you look over towards the side of Minnesota, those guys need ROKKR to keep performing. He had a 1.36 in that series that they just played, where they won 3-1 versus a Paris team that has looked pretty solid.
We'll have a look at Minnesota right now as well. Game fuel keys to victory for these guys. Try to steal domination, hey?
Yeah, they're 3-0, I think, on Hackney Dom. So if they can win that Dom, remain strong in search, where, you know, Huntsmen haven't looked that great at times. You know, last week they looked fantastic, but just there they got 6-0'd in one of the search and destroys. So this is a ROKKR team that's pretty good in search. If they can win both searches and steal that Dom, they can take this series.
We're going to have a look at these two teams side by side in just a moment. We're going to take a look at the US Army quick scope, because obviously these two teams are comparable right now. I think we're actually in for quite a close game if both of these teams come and bring it to the main stage like we do know that they can. We're going to take a look at the quick scope here presented by the US Army. Both of these teams right now are really at the top of their game so far in this season, but as you can see, the points kind of speak for themselves here. Respawn KD, not too much of a difference there as well, but when we're looking at this side by side, Rich, what are you seeing for the bigger picture? I know you love the big pictures here.
Well, I'm going to go back to the points. Obviously, we didn't see Minnesota at London, and I think that that's one of the reasons that maybe this team's being slept on just a little bit. I know when I'm talking to a lot of the players as well about what their power rankings would be, this is a squad that's up there with potentially Dallas, with Paris, with London. It's really those four squads that you look at and say, okay, are they in the A tier? Obviously, the Chicago Huntsmen have been up in that S tier with FaZe, trying to prove that they're somewhat immortal teams. The question is, will we see Chicago bleed when they go up against Minnesota? ROKKR has been an absolute freak of nature.
That will be the question. It's the US Air Force maps and modes that you're seeing on your screen right now. The one I'm looking at so far is Game 2 Search and Destroy. Here, Gunrunner, what is that outcome going to be? Can ROKKR kind of take this one against Chicago? We've already seen Chicago may need a few games to warm up a little bit when it comes to S&D.
Yeah, I mean, if ROKKR can win those searches, they're fine. And if you see game number 3, that's the map that they've been dominating on, that Hackney Dom.
Indeed it is. Well, gentlemen, I think it's about time that we talk about this incredible match that we got on the main stage in just a moment. It's going to be pretty amazing. I just want to know from the crowd right now, you guys ready for another main stage game? Okay, Atlanta, I think we can do better than that when we get through the weekend. I'll come back to you.
I think we could do better than Maven, too, but this is all we got.
That's true. You're stuck with me forever.
Well,
thank you, Rich.
Gentlemen, take this one away.
We just need to get his wardrobe handled. He looks like an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know if we're stuck with you. We're stuck with him.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about.
Very true. But I have a question for you before we hop into this. There was a lot of talk about that very close series between Huntsmen, between Ultra to start things off. Do you view that a negative in the sense you saw some weakness from them, or do you view it as a positive? Is that like a wake-up call they needed to take this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look at it both ways of, oh, crap, like we went to Game 5 round 11 with the Toronto Ultra, but on the other side, it's, all right, we survived. It's only winners round 1. We were able to get through that, and yeah, now the adrenaline might be flowing for Chicago.
Well, I think tight series, you know, if you're talking about power rankings, like close series, tight series with maybe lesser teams is a big deal, but at a tournament, who cares? Get the win, move on, you get more maps, you get more reps, and you can improve throughout the course of the weekend. But ROKKR were our biggest surprise, maybe to start. They come in and upset Paris in a big way. Now, do they have what it takes to go up against Huntsmen? Now, we're starting off with Envoy for a couple reasons. One, he's the #2 overall KD on Petro Hardpoint. 2, we saw one of the most impressive performances all year long from him. 30 and 12, 3 minutes in the hardpoint. It is really what started our hype around Envoy to start this year off for us. He's insane here.
Yeah, he is very solid at this map, and I mean, I'm sure teams watch the VOD. They're trying to copy what he does, how he moves on the map. But Minnesota, they're going to start on that preferred side. You saw Chicago, they had to wait for those nades to come in, and as those nades come in, you're going to earn 13 seconds, but Chicago now starting to break on through. As Minnesota, they want to control that right side of the map. That's where they spawn. That's where we're rotating for that second hill.
Well, I think for ROKKR, we were really impressed with, like, ROKKR had a great performance to get them through that first series. Huntsmen got through, but it was a little bit slower than we expected. Was there someone that maybe needed to pick it up for you on Huntsmen if they're going to get things cleaner going forward?
Arcades is great. I mean, Arcades has just been so good for this team all year long. Like, the guy's outstanding in every role. But if you're looking at someone to improve, I think a guy like Gunless, I mean, we know at times he could be the best player in the world, but we need him to be more consistent. For Minnesota, ROKKR has to be great, but I think you need everyone. When you're playing a team to this caliber, Chicago, you're champions, like, you need a 5-man performance.
Yeah. Well, right now it is all ROKKR. It is 56-0 as they are dominating the early going. It does not get cleaner than this. You haven't seen a scoreline like this to start many games, especially a map like Petro. This is brilliant from them in the early going as they still have Cafe locked down, and Huntsmen looking to pounce with 35 seconds remaining. On the slaying side of things, really for ROKKR, I mean, Assault's the standout. He's 8-4 to kick it off. RX 6-4, make it 7-4, 4 in a row from him. Ends on a 5 spree. Well, are Huntsmen going to get a point? Well, there you go, yes!
It's what we talk about a lot with these hard points, right? You have that strong side, and the opposite team has to make the decision. Do we want to try to rotate for second? Do we just want to earn some time and try to break through? And nothing was working for Chicago. So it's perfect as a start you can get here for Minnesota. Now, though, it has been that third hill. Chicago have the setup to get back into the game.
And you said, do you think Gunless is someone to step it up a little bit within this series? He's averaging 29.7 kills in hardpoint. That is 5th amongst all players in the CDL. So when you're just talking about overall kills, just dropping bombs in the map, Gunless is one of the all-time leaders so far this year. So in this mode, he's got to go big.
Yeah, this has to be a big hill, and I don't know if it's going to be Scump, the last member alive, as 4 of his teammates get taken down outside of Hazmat. As now Minnesota, they have the Chicago team spawn towards the back. Silly and Asim, they're going to find 4 kills, and man, this is just a perfect start for Minnesota.
And I think the one question I didn't ask you is, if Huntsmen played like they did against Ultra, do you see them beating ROKKR? You probably would have said no.
Yes, no.
And they're coming out a little bit slow, and the scoreline is reflecting it nearly up 100, but now they're able to get into Hazmat. The problem, there's only 10 seconds remaining. Inside a restaurant already, I believe, is Assault, who's on a tear so far. 12-7 for him. Set up inside, trying to get 3 snap, but not quite able to do it. Arcades on the Huntsman side gets a few kills, but if you take a look at the scoreboard right now, that is not something you're going to see very often from Huntsman. Every single player negative in a respawn. It
just comes from the scoreboard, right? I mean, it's just when you don't have the hill setups, the game is difficult, right? Just trying to break some of these hills is so difficult. How do they get in the pool off without dying 2 to 3 times before they even get there? Finally, a contest may come through, but you have Alex, you have ROKKR watching the back. He's ready for Envoy, who we pointed out. He's able to snap onto the second with that hip fire, and now trying to stay alive. And he's doing such a good job, has to pull the knife out, but does get taken down.
Yeah, I think Rich said on the desk that maybe people forgot about ROKKR a little bit, but heck, when we did hard points and we talked to Crowder about stuff, he said he felt like Minnesota had a chance to be like a top 4 team, and he's the opinion of someone I trust quite a bit.
So here's the thing, when we looked at the ROKKR, it was similar to like a Florida. When you look at the teams that they beat Gorillas in a controversial series, and they beat Toronto Ultra. So it's like, now that that's over and we look at those 2 wins, it's like, how good are they? Because we don't know. Because we know those 2 teams are at the bottom of the league.
But if you at least go to the preseason, like the 2-month lead up with regards to scrims, like Minnesota were doing really well. Like they were doing great. They looked like they had potential to break into that upper echelon of teams, and maybe just reminded people right now that they are capable of going deep into a tournament. But Gunless trying to come alive as he gets to 13-13.
Yeah, and for me, this is just a map you want to close out as soon as possible, right? Don't allow the momentum to go back onto the Chicago side. You don't want them to come back on a crazy, game 1 victory, where after that point we would probably say like the series could potentially be done. So for Minnesota, continue to play your game, get this map one done with, run away with it.
Formal with the M4 doing a good job there inside a restaurant, chains together several kills, as they'll get just over the 80-point mark, but still getting doubling up. Like they've chipped away at the lead a little bit, but just not enough to really put ROKKR in danger yet. Remember, the first set of hills between Cargo and then over to Cafe, it was a 60-0 advantage. It was dominated by ROKKR, but this time a little bit different. You don't have the advantage with the opening break, but you are set up early. They've got the rotation here. Now, how much damage can they do in the opening moments?
Big pinch here by Scump and Formal. Gunless is able to dive alive up top. ROKKR, well, he's able to lock down the hill. The pinch was there for Chicago. They just couldn't execute.
It's like they got to kill on one side of it, but then everybody else ends up dropping. RC is the guy that's got to pick it up here. He's 8-15, and Envoy, who has been so good on this particular map, struggling. 10-16 hasn't left the impact that we expected from him, or we'd like to see from him. Maybe the homework really done by Røkkr.
Yeah, and again, it's just obviously the scoreboard is going to be very one-sided with this score. Minnesota, they're going to give up this scrap time, but they're going to rotate towards Cafe. RC's trying to work his way through pool hall right now. He knows the spawns are going to be there for the Røkkr, just waiting for his teammates to get pushed on up, and now it's Scump who's trying to work through blue courtyard.
But it's wild to think of a team that we praised in Huntsmen on this map for being so ahead of the rotation. It's been Røkkr, what feels like every time. Like they've just been ahead of it so often. It's been impressive to witness. Like, can they hold on this opening wave? Gunless doing everything he can to try and get the push on through, but the Simtex going to trade him out. It's a very close spawn from Huntsmen to keep on flooding, but the time continues to tick for Røkkr. Now just 35 more points needed from... They got a chance for what, the first 100-point club that we've seen?
Yeah, they got a chance. As you're going to see all these guys just sort of run away. And I think because they gave up the rest of that time to rotate to Hazmat, it's not going to happen. But Minnesota, they know exactly what they want. They want to rotate towards that third hill. They're trying to flip the spawns, and it looks like the map is going to be flipped. Some nice shots from Formal on the ROKKR.
But Røkkr's just a step ahead.
Yeah,
It feels like every hard point.
And they're going to be because... I mean, with such long rotations, Chicago would, at this point, have to play like perfect, right? And Minnesota know this.
Nice win by Alex mid-map. 15 more points needed. One of the more dominant hard points you are going to see from start to finish. I mean, it's a 60-0 lead from Minnesota to kick off the game against one of the top teams in the world. Røkkr just came in and gave them the old uppercut. They look to close it out there, and they do it. Røkkr with the map 1 win.
See the boys getting pumped up there. I see him bringing the energy to the stage. And that's big because I think for a lot of people, if Minnesota was going to win this one, I mean, you would think like trying to steal a respawn and winning search and destroy.
That wasn't a steal.
Yeah, no,
that was a thumping.
They dominated, and we talked about it when we looked at the maps. Hackney yard domination has been something they've been undefeated on, but we're going to take a look at the stats. I mean, yeah, with such a slow start, everybody did so well for the Minnesota side. Gunless is 21-21. Formal, he's positive, but yeah, I mean, you're not going to get a lot from your subs when you're behind those rotations.
Well, ROKKR had another amazing map, and I want to take a look at the scuff play of the game. It's going to be ROKKR with the lovely double. I'm wondering, guys, probably when he ran out of ammo, right? Had to pull out the knife. I think he ends up getting 3 in this situation. The hip-fire headshot there, just ludicrous. The third gets tallied on, and now it's like, please, can I go in for the knife? Because he ran out of ammo and tried to make the play, but a big moment from ROKKR inside a pool hall to continue racking up the time, but that just, what a hot start it was. And you talk about a map like this, or maybe like Hackney, like there are times where you can get out to that big lead early just due to which side you spawn on, but you never want to look up at F0 midway through the second hard point.
Yeah, and this is just like, I think Chicago has been tested. They were tested at London. They had a lot of tough matches, but it just feels like a different energy today, right? Like, that's something we talked about. When things are going well with this team, they're going to go really, really well. It's when things go bad that they're going to be tested. There's a lot of strong personalities on this roster.
Well, I kind of wondered how they come out in the sense of like, you knew at London they wanted to go prove they were the best. They wanted to win that tournament. They wanted to show they were the #1 squad because I think everyone had like a Dallas or a FaZe ahead of them coming in just in the preseason online scrims. But now they won London. I was curious like what that demeanor would be because like they got past Dallas, but they have to hear the comments. People talk about FaZe, whether it's coming from us or certain fans. Sure. I think FaZe is still the top dog. Like, I almost thought there'd be more of a passion kind of coming into this. Are you surprised to maybe see some of those slow starts out of them?
Not necessarily, right? Because I don't think they probably thought like Toronto was going to be the toughest match. Even like Minnesota, like we've talked about how well Minnesota is, but they haven't played yet. So I don't know. It's almost like one of those things where you talk about it so much that maybe it doesn't happen, right? Like every single time we want to see that FaZe versus Chicago series, maybe we never see it.
True. Well, before we get into map 2, I do want to take a look at the U.S. Air Force quick scope before we lead into the search and destroy. And the one thing the Huntsmen have, I mean, win or loss, whatever it ends up being the result, they've got such a nice lead right now in the points department that, yeah, you're rooting for them to do well if you're a fan, obviously, but you're sitting comfortable. Like, you got so many points in London that you're feeling good about that. But all across the board. I mean, what stood out for them is, from a KD standpoint, you kind of saw it there. It's been very balanced, right? Like, everyone is putting on. Everyone was above a 1.0. Like, they were all very, very solid across the board. And that happens when you have a team as stacked and talented as you have with the Huntsmen.
Yeah, and I mean, for Chicago, we just saw them win this map, but one of the keys to victory that Nameless was talked about is the 2 Game 5s that they went to versus Paris. In just last series, it was on Scump. He had to go on 2 10 sprees. Like, as much as you love to see that, because everybody wants to watch a king go to work, you can't rely on him to do that every single search and destroy.
And there's going to be a team they haven't got to look at in this particular map. And they don't have a lot of VOD to really go out with Minnesota because they weren't at London, so not as much film to talk about in search. So they just have to do their thing. Envoy,
player audio, I'm not sure if we're supposed to.
Gets the first blood. They've got the 5v3 advantage, but Silly peeking into Cargo that is at least able to take one with him. Silly gets another kill. The bomb's getting planted. Gunless should get caught immediately. So what was a 5v3 advantage for Huntsmen, suddenly going to be a 2-on-2. Arcees wins 1.
Chat time.
20 seconds now on the clock to work with.
I like this. He's making Assault think. He knows he has to play the clock. But that silence is there, and Arcee's able to win the 1-on-2.
Are you kidding me? What a reaction. And snap from RCDs, and around it got scary. Like, you have the 5v3 and things seemingly fall apart, but the team gets on RCD's back and he's able to get the 1v2 clutch. What a play from Alec.
A lot of people just chatting about how, like, he's been a leader, right? Just in-game and out-of-game for them, keeping them calm, and you love to see him have big plays like that to get these guys back into this match.
He's a guy just root for. He's just fun. Like, RC's just the man. Silly, I think, had the angle for just a moment. Does he peek again? He sure does, but can't quite hit the shot as Formal's able to pepper him. Envoy looking for an opening, maybe up through mid, as he's already found the 1 kill.
Look at the mini-map right now. Like, mid-map control is dominated by Chicago.
He had the first blood in round 1, too, didn't he?
You have players peeking out of crates. You have a player in vent room. Minnesota does not have a lot to work with. If you're looking at something, maybe it's a Silly snipe to open up a site. Trump trying to stay alive. He's going to have to back on up. And well, Formal, he peeks, but does get taken down. So now down to a 4 versus 4. 35 seconds to work with. A nice shot from Asim.
Yeah, that was a quick reaction and snap, and Envoy will get caught, but it's RCDs again stepping up in the clutch. Strings together 2 in a row. Now it's going to be all on GodRx to try and make the play, and it's RCDs with the beams again. I think it's back-to-back rounds where Envoy gets the first blood and 5-0 start from RCDs.
Yeah, 5-0 from him. He finds 3 kills towards that tail end of the round.
It's Envoy early, opening up the map. RCD's late, shutting it down. See if Minnesota can get something cohesive going. It's going to need to happen this time on the defensive end. But we should, yeah, I like the Envoy watch because he's been the first blood machine early. Does he get aggressive for a pick again?
Let's try again. Definitely heard that, yeah. Player right on the other side of the crates. Arcees, though, his perfect game is still up. He's 6-0. He finds the first blood. Asim, yeah, I would say he had to have hurt him. And here comes the push through crates for Minnesota. Start to get very aggressive, trying to find the player on the bomb.
Still 1 more here in Assault. But there's the trade now from Formal. All 5 go down. 3-0 Huntsmen as they continue rolling.
Just taking the map away from Minnesota. We're going to have to see what Minnesota does to try to combat it. Guys like Asim and Alex, they're going to have to get aggressive. Challenge Envoy. Challenge RCDs in those one-on-ones. You know, it's similar to what we saw with, like, Florida and London earlier today. London, like Dylan and Scraps, they were just taking the map away from them. This is a map you have to fight for mid-map control.
I think just the S&D improvements in general, though, for Huntsmen is a reason them losing map 1 isn't as scary as it might have been a couple months ago. Like, the fact that they improved heading into London, maybe not the best search team in the world, but good enough that they can battle back in series. Envoy's going to get caught this time around. big advantage now behind GodRx. 2 kills for him. 4 versus 2 now for Røkkr. Asim works to get the plant down. Who's that inside of bathrooms? That's going to be Scump that might be able to make the play. And think of remember all the clutches he had, Scump and Arcides? In those 2-man clutch scenarios, but
he's got to open the door. Yeah, in a tough spot. I mean, they try to get a little bit creative there. There's smoke down in the middle of the map. Envoy tries pushing through Forest. You have Gunless at that rock. I mean, when Envoy goes down, Gunless is just open to 2-3 angles and ends up getting caught. You know, you have a 3-round advantage. Take a risk, right? You can do that.
And for Minnesota, you desperately needed a round. You got the win. Alex still sitting on a goose egg. Let's start off on Røkkr's POV on defense and see how they opt to play. This looks very aggressive towards B.
Here's that aggression I was talking about. You have one player who's all the way up towards the left. It's going to be silly. Alex Assault, they find 2 first kills, and then they can just go. They can use their numbers at this point.
Formal isolated in the back.
You have one player going around. You have one player going around. I think that's Arcides right now. He could get behind him. Can he stay alive?
Thought for a second in my lineup where he got multiple kills, but here comes the re-peek. Alex, I like that. Little off angle, prone around the barrel. Nice round here from Alex. 4 versus 2. Now Formal and Enable, or Formal and Envoy. See if they can bring it back in this 2 versus 4. Envoy, great job. Gets into green. Only 30 seconds in the round, and now it's all going to be on Envoy. His shot is on point.
He's going to reset his dead silence as well, so he has some time to work with, dead silence to work with, but the double peaks there for Minnesota. Just the numbers early on.
Alex, I think when he had the first blood, he was able to pick up Arcides on the flank. He then shuts down Envoy, who's in a clutch position. That was a wondrous round there from Alex.
Yeah, and he was doing it all. He was 0-4 at that point.
Oh, that's right. It's the guy said had the goose egg coming in, and then he has that incredible round. I mean, just doing it on all sides of that site. From 0-4 to 4-4. That's one way to turn it around.
Good couple of rounds for Minnesota. See if anyone's going to start to go towards the safe side. A lot of B hits early on. See if anyone's going to get creative. But Minnesota, as I was talking about, they're starting to get very aggressive middle of the map.
It's exactly what you asked for.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something you have to do. I think a lot of the times you may try to play a little creative on Gunrunner, and if the team just takes the map away from you the way Chicago was early on, you have to respond, and they're doing that right here. That's why they may find themselves with 3 round wins in a row. And they will.
Another brilliant round there from Minnesota, and another good round from Alex. I think he gets 2 more, so 0-4 to now 5 straight. And you saw his shot was on point. Like whoever that was, he snapped on in the back. Like it's
one of those days. It's like, you know what? This isn't working. Let's just throw some smokes and duel in the middle of the map. Let's just use
it messy.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, sorry, it's 6 in a row now for Alex. Well, now you saw the answer from Røkkr. It's Huntsman's turn. They've given up 3 straight rounds. It's similar to what happened with Toronto, right? They went up 4-0, then I think lost 3 or 4 in a row to make that more interesting. Just haven't been able to close out these search and destroys cleanly when they get that hot start.
Silly pops Deddy right off the start. He's able to work his way through vent, finds a first blood. Thing for Minnesota, they don't have a lot of control. Formal's going to find that nade, Gunless with a kill. So it's just like that. That first blood means absolutely nothing.
See if anyone finds a weird opening with this smoke down mid. Trade back and forth. Number still to Huntsman. Silly's been spotted, but gets away. Huntsman still have to work on this bomb planted with 30 less seconds. They have to start making a move now. 30 on the clock.
But they know as well that they have to peek the bomb plant, right? Like they have to push up by the crates. So I know GodRx and Silly, they have to get a bit aggressive. They just got to watch over these players. Smoke goes down. Envoy, he's just going to use Deddy. And, well, he's going to use that smoke, finds the final 2 kills. They played their numbers. They play together.
Envoy made that look easy. If you're a diehard fan, you probably saw the clip that people were laughing about. Slasher tweeted out. It was pretty ludicrous hipfire kill for Envoy. What was it? It was on Azir Cave. It was like 40 yards, just hipfired somebody.
Really good.
Oh, even there, hipfire looked pretty clean. It was funny because he got it. He like, had no reaction. He just goes, "Oh, he's dead." And RC's in the background just giggling.
Yeah, something they're just used to,
Yeah.
I guess, by now.
And P40 is very good. Aggression, again, this time. Over towards the A site. But Scump and Envoy, they're ready and waiting. There will be no opening. Looking to chain together 2 rounds after the big flood from Røkkr. Just going to be on assault now, and he's getting chased. That should be the round. Nice answer from Huntsmen. I don't mind the gamble from Røkkr. Get a little aggressive towards the offsite, but unfortunately for them, Envoy and Scump shut it down with the quickness. I'm just laughing because you called the MP5 and MP40. Oh, MP5? Oh, that's from the blackout. Yeah. I know your love-hate relationship with that. Oh, it is. It is. That's what I get for using that darn gun every day. They're both very good. One more round for Huntsmen to tie up the series at 1 apiece. The last time they did this push towards B, Alex found the opening pick and they were able to put Huntsmen on their back foot early. This time will not be the case. RC's gets the first blood. The aggressor, Nassim, is cut down. Nice shots from RC's yet again mid-map. He is 12-4. You said you maybe Scump, you want somebody other to step up and have a monster game, and RC's has done it. And you saw Minnesota, what they were trying to do. They were trying to get, you see where those skulls are aggressive towards B. The only problem is you don't have someone vent room or someone who can take down RC just watching that cross. They're just going to use those teammates and take that player down. You would love someone water or trying to work vent in that situation. And now, yeah, Alex checks the bomb, doesn't want the plant to go down, but the trade is there. Arcides going to the trying to find for the ace, but a 14-kill performance from Arcides. Chicago, they win the search and destroy. They tie the series up 1-1. Arcides, just an incredible map. After, Huntsmen come out a little bit flat. They answer back. They had to answer back even within that game too, right? They're up 3-0. It's 3 straight. And they're able to bring it back and close out the game. But it's 1-1, a series that maybe has the potential to go the distance. It's going to be map 3 domination coming up next. What a performance from Arcides. You see our reaction, we're loving it. Map 3 up next.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Rule your day with the #1 brand in prepaid.
Let's go, Røkkr! Let's go, Røkkr!
I know.
Let's go, Røkkr!
How awesome is that? I think what convinced me that I love the localization, the franchising was the first event in Minnesota, hearing the fans all get behind him, and now seeing that like in their local market, wherever they're at a bar, restaurant, watching it, I eat that up.
Yeah, I love it. It looked great. They're probably cheering him on right now.
Yeah.
They're probably pretty pumped after map 1, now pretty pumped after map 2.
Probably very true, but let's take a look at the Army tactical play before we get into the domination series, all tied up at 1 apiece. Looks like we're in to round 7. It's Envoy making the plays while they're on the defuse. Envoy and RC is going huge throughout the course of that, but that was him just chasing the kill down mid-tracks. But that was that big retake, right? When it was the early plant came in from Minnesota, and they were able to bring it back in.
Yeah, that gave them the 2-round cushion, right? It was back and forth, 3 rounds in a row, 3 rounds in a row, but that was the round that I think that really solidified it. Minnesota tried
I would have picked one of
up.
Arseny's plays probably, because he had,
Yeah,
he had
I'll
a
take
bunch of
round 1,
monster
but it's
plays.
fine. It's fine.
He
We'll
had some
figure it
nutty
out.
rounds. What did he end with, 14?
A lot, yeah, 14, almost had the ace for the last round as well.
But that has been a staple of some of their search wins. Like, whether it is Scump, whether it is Gunless, whether it is RC, somebody has this monster double-digit map that just goes insane for them. Even to some of the respawns, like someone just takes over. It's funny because when it all evens out, like their stats are all pretty darn similar, but they have these guys that just have these takeover maps, and that's what ROKKR is going to have to deal with. Do you have any thoughts about this particular matchup when it comes to Doms? I think one of the keys to victory from Minnesota on the desk was come in and take the Dom.
Yeah, I mean, they're undefeated on this map, and we saw it early today. They dominated one of the better domination teams that we have in the league in Paris.
Well, I think I saw, I believe Brian Saint did an interview where he said, I'm surprised that they played us on this. Like, I'm sorry Paris wanted to. We haven't lost on it yet.
Yep.
So I guess maybe the same thing here. I'm surprised they're going to end up playing them on it.
Well, I think it's just Chicago believes when it comes down to it, Hackney, where it's just lots of gunfights. We're more confident, right? We have the edge.
We'll see. We will see. The countdown in, map loading up. Who will take the series lead after this domination? The favored spawn to kick off this first half will go to the Huntsmen on A. So expect them to have an early lead on the opening and see how long they can hold this side of the map. They got B about halfway before I think Assault picked them off the site.
And they weren't able to get B right away, but Envoy, he's trying to control inside of B. Gunless is securing that home flag, just making sure. Well, actually, he's putting pressure towards C. So what RC's is doing right now, just making sure that Minnesota can't get a flag.
Well, they're battling over B. We know the ROKKR are undefeated on this map in mode. We'll see if they can keep it rocking. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with ROKKR.
Work for a flag as well. Work for a flag. Tapal, guys. Tapal.
Alright, good.
Tapal, Gami.
Top ladder again, guys. Top ladder again. B. Adam, drop down. Was no one top L? No one top L. Gotta get him off B.
Stun me. Yeah, you're good.
2v2 by B. Top, next to you. Dorky next to you. P3, Envoy, one shot. Envoy, one shot, P3.
I got one shot B, bro. 4 more in B and P1.
P1.
I think there's 2. There's 2 in B right now. 2 in B. Take us out.
I'm trying to go left.
Yeah, I come left. Just
Good job. One shot left. Envoy, bro. Bottom real quick. We're going bottom out.
Envoy's back fire car. Back fire car. Let's do that. One back fire car.
Actually, there's only one more B, so
Go B.
trying to hit bottom out.
Go on. Envoy. Let's go Envoy.
No, we didn't kill. They spoke. Is that yours? No.
Yo, they went back to me.
Alright, one's around B. He's around B. Bottom out.
Well, Huntsman had that AB setup. Things have got flipped a bit as Minnesota were able to break through to B. Now an AC hold for Huntsman.
It's actually interesting what Chicago has been doing. They've almost been allowing Minnesota to go towards B and neutralize it, and then off of that through the middle of the map, they're just going to their home flag, and it's almost like they're trapping them inside of B, and that's why they have this 14-point lead. The only thing that happens that gets a little bit scary when you go for that setup is you allow them to get B and maybe go for a run at your home flag at A. That's what you don't want. You don't want to give up A. You don't want to be spawning C.
And I just think the spawns get a little bit wonky sometimes when you have like that AC hold.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, where are they going to pop?
I mean, if they can get that trap and set it up where they have 2 flags, as Scump, he finds 3 kills, it's going to work out great. It is just a risk at times.
Just tries to find some ammo. I think he bounces, maybe not sure he can reload. Now he can. As he is just piecing right now. Scump frying all over the map. It's going to be a seam that finally cuts him short, but what a play there from Scump, and a big part of why they've got this 16-point advantage.
And again, the same thing. They're on C. They're neutraling C right now. Every single time Minnesota goes for this B flag, someone's pushing through green and just neutraling their home.
It was like, ROKKR, if you're going to get progress on B, fine, but you're losing something as a result.
Now it's a 3-cap.
Now, how long can they hold this 3-cap? Because this is where the game could get very, very scary. But quickly on to A and B will be ROKKR. Able to neutral A, but there's still 2 more players there from Huntsmen. The one-on-one goes to Minnesota towards the B site, so they're at least able to lock that down. Huntsmen should regain control of A. They've still got C's. It's madness all across the map. As Assault tries to go off the top rope, looks to take the one-on-one, but Envoy, he's got the headshot, he's got the snapper. It's Assault and Alex both get put in the dirt. Envoy makes the play at the home flag.
Yeah, and when it does get a little bit scary for them, it's Envoy who goes big. 11-5 starties. Can he find 2 more? He can. Just finessing around the tire shot. 5, 6, 7 in a row for Envoy.
We've seen him do it all year long, but a reminder what an unreal talent he is in this title. 14-5. Can we get right back over to him? Thank you. He's got 7 in a row. We got to see how far he can take this. As not only is he getting the kills, he's securing the sites. He's able to get B, and now can he do it on defense? Here comes the flood from Minnesota. 8th down, 9th down. The 10th is lining up. The challenge is out, but Assault finally able to cut him down. But over that sequence, now look at the scoreboard. 32 points up are the Huntsmen.
He's so good in those situations where he has to finesse, just play his life, right? Just time and time again in the final of London when he was just playing Petrodome. He was being so annoying at C. It's a similar situation at what he was doing at that A flag. He knows exactly when he has to be on the flag, when he has to get off of it, go for those kills. And, well, to end this, you're going to have another potential 3-cap for Chicago.
Well, Envoy's biggest game of domination was 33 kills on Hackney against the Gorillas. He's got potential to maybe surpass that. He's sitting at 17-7 right now.
That's with 2 less minutes.
That's actually insane.
He's got 2 less minutes.
That's a good point. So he might set his kill record with 2 less minutes to work with. But that sequence was something special. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, you know he's alone. He knows that Minnesota wants that flag. And he's just so good at just staying alive.
Wow, it just, geez. I mean, when you said they started to get control, it was like a 10, 12-point game. Now 40 points up. Go Huntsmen. Unbelievable stuff. But ROKKR, they find themselves in a big hole, but the good thing for them, they have this A-side spawn. So how do they opt to play this? Can they get that early A-B control and chip away at this? Because they have to chip away at it early. In these first couple minutes, I mean, they need to get that down to, what, 20 or so points?
I mean, even with 5-minute halves now, like, it's just so hard. You know you're not going to have a 2-flag cap for 4 minutes. Like, you're going to have to put some pressure on Chicago. You're going to have to go for a few neutrals.
Which Chicago did so well from their strong side in the first half. Over to a seam. At least able to call them out on the cross. That's going to be a lot of pressure to GodRx, who's just sitting top shot, trying to hold this side of the map. Formal, incinerated inside of green window. 4 go down for Huntsmen. 2-cap currently in with the neutral. I mean, this is exactly what, oh, sorry, it's 1-cap with 2 neutrals, I think. It confused me a little bit when it's white.
Yeah, I have no clue. I was honestly thinking the same thing, because like the A is bold, the B isn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
That was the first time I looked at it. I was like, I'm not entirely sure. Well, there's a lot of white there, so it's looking great for
Yeah, I think it's a 3-cap. I think it's a 3-cap, which is what we just talked about. And now it's already cut down to 20. They did exactly what they needed. Gunless is peeking through those doors for some reason, so he's not going to get the neutral on B. There is a neutral at A.
But GodRx just went nuts during that sequence, and we said a couple minutes, get it down to 20. We're 90 seconds in, the lead down to 14.
But here's the problem.
What a start.
They go for the 3-cap, they go for the neutral and capture at C, and look what happens. Chicago, they focus A, and now they're gonna have the A-B setup that you prefer on this side. So we know that when you have to play risky, it's a giant risk.
Do you still take that though? You chipped away at 30, 40 points. I think you have to take that.
You have to take it.
Now you need to be able to battle back, but You take that gamble when you chip away at the lead that much, I think.
Yeah, you need to execute.
It's all about execution now down the stretch with 3 minutes to go. But this is the position ROKKR found themselves in for most of that first half, or at least the second half of that first half. That was so difficult to get out of, but they're going to get into B, they're going to get the secure, and they're going to get the challenge now out of Assault. He's got the world in front of him, but he gets some help from Alex and Asim. Still one player here. There's some lovely hip fire from the MP5.
Okay, so you had Gunless go all the way through green. One player actually spawned up there with him. So getting some weird spawns now, but you need to just protect A. They're going to get this C flag. And, well, this is exactly the man you want to protect an Envoy. He was able to win one on Asim, and that buys time. So now you have this AC set up again. In Minnesota, they know they have to go. It's desperation time. They need a home flag. And while doing so, can they defend B?
Huntsmen just winning it on both sides of the map right now. You're still going to have Gunless at C.
Now this is
which
bad.
we'll keep an eye on. But
this
yeah,
is not good.
This
Not good for Minnesota.
Could look so different in 10 to 20 seconds. But they might just put this game out of reach here in the next few moments.
They're able to find 4, so looks like things are going to calm down for a minute. With 20 points, it's going to be close.
If you hold the 2 cap, you need like what, a neutral for a little bit?
Yep.
That's what we're looking at right now. Hold the 2 cap, get a neutral. But we've
Not
seen
going to hold the 2 cap.
They've been good at holding A, and maybe even better at putting that pressure towards B. The neutral already in at B. The cap might be in. We might have a 3 cap coming through in a second here. Envoy making the play again towards C. His teammates a lovely job at B. Envoy's got a one-on-one that he'll actually lose to Asim, but it's not going to matter. 21-point advantage, 60 seconds to go. 3 cap and a miracle, the only thing that could be any difference.
And I just love what we've seen from Chicago on this map. Like, we thought going into this, like, the way you had to play it was all around A. You wanted A, B. You hardly ever wanted to touch C, and they just said, we're going to play this differently. We'll give you B. We're going to focus all of our attention on A, but then we're going to send 1 or 2 on a long route just to neutral your home or to take it away from you and make you react off that. And then when you have to react, that's when we get the setup we want.
Because they came down a couple moments. Obviously, that Envoy stretch at A to defend it. That was huge. And then Minnesota, when they had a chance to really take the lead, to evaporate that, like you said, they took a little risk. They did a gamble. They brought it back, but the spawns got out of control. They couldn't hold everything down, and ultimately,
well, can they
Huntsmen just able to hold on. Lester's at the 3 cap, but even then, just not enough time. That was one of the closer doms you're going to see, though.
Yeah. Yeah, both teams, I think, played that well. ROKKR, I mean, he 30 and 15 for the loss. He dropped 30 kills, double positive, but it's Chicago with some brilliant teamwork, couple of clutch moments, and that's what domination is between 2 tough teams.
Well, we'll take a look at the stats here momentarily, just update you how it broke down. You mentioned ROKKR had that monster game, but unfortunately it doesn't turn into the W. But after Minnesota strike first with a convincing and dominant Game 1 win, from there it's been all Huntsmen. I would say all Huntsmen. I mean, there were some back and forth moments in that Game 3 for sure, but, well, even in the Search and Destroy, I mean, they were very, very close maps, but the final scoreline's 2 map wins for Huntsmen to now take control of this series. Now let's take a look at the stats, see if there are any other big outliers or standouts for you, Joe.
I mean, Envoy 29 and 16. We knew he had such a big game. Scump right there with him. The side of Minnesota, Silly and Alex, you would like to see maybe a little bit more from them, but it was so back and forth, right? It just comes down to a few little things, and that's really the difference maker.
Well, let's take a look at another graphic here and sort of talk through it. This is going to be RC's and ROKKR, and I guess this is when we're talking about them with a loadout switch with regards to when they're a flex, right? Because they're more known for their AR play. When we see them with an SMG in their hands, I'm wondering, when is this RC's KD from now? The 11 and 22 is what surprises me, because for the most part, I think we've seen him go big. I mean, ROKKR has been great, but it's just weird because yes, there's a switch, but they switch so much. Like, it's just half the time they're a sub. So that's the Game 1 hard point that we're talking about. Okay, so that's what it was.
That makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was all ROKKR. That makes a lot of sense. But I think RC's has been one of the guys. I mean, we see that's one of the guys we see that stat is 11 and 22, but I think we've gassed him quite a bit, though, when he has the P5. Like, he's been so
well,
good.
Yeah, I think with the 4 sub meta that we've had throughout, you know, Modern Warfare, one of the big question marks was who's going to be the flex player, right? And I think looking at Chicago, I think Formal could do it, but RC's has been doing it at such a high level.
And it's a big deal because I'm trying to think of a team that struggles because all right, like an OpTic. If this was a 2 AR every map,
Probably in a better situation.
they'd be disgusting. Like, well, much quicker, I think. But the fact that it is 4-1, it's a little bit trickier for them.
Even look at the end of last year, right? When it did switch to like 2 subs with, 2 SOGs, that 2-SOG meta, that's when it united. When it got the buff, that's when they just really started to pick it up.
Well, it's difficult because, you build teams, but you're not sure what you're building teams for sometimes. Like, you don't know where the meta is going to be 1 month to the next at times. So people, I think if you say anything that stands out about Call of Duty esports, it's adapting. Like if you think of title to title each year, if you think of the meta evolving over the course of the year, what roles players have to play, it's the adaptability, something that stands out massively, not just with individuals, but just with your overall roster.
But Gunrunner hardpoint loading up now. Minnesota, they looked great in game 1. They're able to take that hardpoint away from Chicago. And for Chicago, they've had series where they've dropped both hardpoints. We'll see what'll happen this one. So we hop on board with RCDs, who we were just talking about. And off the start, he's going to have that M4.
Sure, we'll see that changing quite a bit over the course of this, but M4 in hand for now. And the shots will be on point. No one yet able to get to the hard point. Scum just gets cambered. I feel like it's got a Rex, comes around the corner and smokes him. Now, ROKKR will get set up. We'll see if they can get this time in the next 20 or so seconds, maybe push through and flip these. You know how hard it is to do for this next point. But they're trying to do that now. It's Silly working up towards mid, able to hit the shots.
Yeah, with these kills, you can obviously see the close spawns. Even with 5 dead, they're still just trying to flip Chicago. Is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen? I don't think so. But behind it, they're getting a lot of time. Assault Heat continues.
He's still up, and they're still just spawning right there. They're still just right there. Sometimes it feels like there's not enough you can do to try and break some of these, and we know how sticky they are. It's hard to do. It's almost you have to get a perfect 5 down to break the back on some of these points, but Huntsman will be able to hold on.
5 down
yeah, to be clear, yes, 5 down like within a second or two is basically what you need to do if you're going to get them to spawn out.
But I don't know what else you could have done. I'm like upset for them. He's like, can we flip spawns? I'm thinking we should flip those.
But for Huntsman, it works out. The ROKKR do get 40 points through the first. Now, how did Huntsman answer? It's early pressure. The ROKKR got all those kills. That at least alleviated mid-map, right? They didn't have to do it in 2 steps. They had pressure onto the hard point almost instantaneously, and now they get the spawn flip in a sense. You're still spawning close top for Huntsman with the parallel spawn, but you got in if you're ROKKR.
And they just earned so much time off hill 1, right? Already up to 50 seconds. There's 20 seconds left. Scump, his eyes on this 3rd hill, trying to stay alive, but Minnesota's here. They're trying to control that back warehouse towards Railroad. They're going to spawn near that B domination flag. They're going to get set up. So I think Minnesota did exactly what they wanted. Obviously they would have liked more time maybe in this depot, but they didn't give them a full 60. They were able to get some early time, and now they have control of Railroad.
Yeah, I think you'll take that.
Yeah.
100%. This being kind of one of those money hills, though, especially if you get early setup. They can get a ton of time on what looks like it should be scrappier than sometimes it is. Assault from that power position at the cart, though, will drop. Silly will be the next man up. Gunless is just picking them off as they try to cross, so they'll be able to hold it from warehouse side. Spawning out towards the A bomb side. ROKKR will now have to rally across those tracks and just funnel in as everybody's set up. And it is not easy to do.
And I think what we saw from Chicago, one thing they were so good at was hills 3 and 4. I mean, they were great at minecart. They earned so much time at crates where even when it got to that fourth hill towards warehouse, where a lot of teams put so much emphasis on, it didn't matter if they lost 50 points there. And already they have early control of crates where we're starting to rotate.
Gunless will be first in. He has a teammate lurking inside of bathrooms to help him on the cross as well. Now he's just got to avoid the nades. They come through. Nice win over towards top train. Assault will get his number, but the help in from Arcedy's almost instantaneously. Now going to be a Huntsman lead. Let's see how much of an advantage they can get. On the flanking comes Envoy. He was lurking in bathroom, but can't do too much damage, but he's able at least to turn some heads. It turns into kills for his teammate. It turns into more time for Huntsman. They continue to secure that left side for next warehouse.
This is a little bit worrisome. They've gotten so much time here, plus the fact they control the left side of the map. Like, if you're in Minnesota, you at least want to get, 20 to 30 seconds here if you're not going to control that fifth hard point. The pressure starting to mount up a little bit towards those mine carts.
Who's pinching though? I think it's Envoy that's pinching. He should have a couple free kills in front of him. His teammates will hold it inside. Envoy takes one down on the pinch.
Minnesota's here.
They're in for now, but now rallying the troops as Envoy gets in to the action. Where's the spawn come in? All right, so it's minecarts for Røkkr, the parallel spawn, bottom spawn for Huntsman. It's good early aggression from Røkkr to get in and contest some time, but looks like Huntsman have rallied for now. Now from Arcedy's to make the play. 5 in a row from him before he drops with Alex and Asim. They've tacked together. It's 4 kills combined. Yep. I mean, it's a great rebound considering how Crates went, right?
Yeah, but Envoy's still here. Of course, it's Envoy. In a sneaky situation, he's going to pounce on out. He's going to find maybe the final 15 seconds. They do come back, but he's just always that player you have to worry about. But taking a look at the scoreboard as we go to our next rotation on the side of Chicago, 21 kills for Arcedy's, 15 for Envoy. On the other side, it's a pretty even distribution. Assault leading the way at 17.
This has been a very good series for Arcedy's for the most part. Between the search and destroy, and now first half of this hard point here, but it's still a tight one. 20-point lead to Huntsman. The man of the hour holding the front. Takes 2 down with him. Can't quite snap onto the third that comes in from behind, but Scump or Formal will likely have the trade. It goes to Formal, and Scump cleans up the scraps. A solid hold now at mid-map. As Scump looks to push the action in. 5 spree for him. I think we have, a 5 in a row for Formal, then Arcedy's, then Scump, but they're finding the kills and flurries.
Arcedy's just for now. Trying to just stay alive as they continue to earn time. Minnesota, a big important hill for them. As we rotate towards this depot, they're going to have early control, even some mid-map control. Chicago's going to have to get a first set of kills before they can even get there. Alex Asim assault, that's going to be 5 down for Chicago. Ball just posted up with this AR.
It's not shocking to see Arcedy's doing this, though. He had a 40-23 game against Dallas on this map. It's the #1, most impressive game of hardpoint so far this year. So it's not shocking to see him comfortable here because he's done it several times and has the best single performance in hardpoint. A 40 bomb with the MP5 and your flex player, you'll take that. Still, just hovering around that 20-point advantage as Røkkr keep it close. Looks like Chicago will lock down these final 20 seconds. But you can see in the minimap, everyone is off to the races to get down mid-map, try and vie for control of minecarts coming up next. Top part controlled by Røkkr, so they'll be set up early. Huntsman did a good job in the opening 5 to 10 seconds last time of getting in, contesting time. Inside of vent room, I think it's Arcedy's who's trying to go through, but Alex is ready and waiting for that.
Yeah, last time it was almost a little bit too easy. If you have this early setup, you at least want to get those first 20 seconds or so before you allow Chicago to contest, and there's 5 dead. That's just too easy from Chicago, and an opportunity to tie the game up. Chicago get all the kills they need, and now they have the setup. Is Scump trying to get a little pushed up inside a vent room. Right behind him, those gunless, but ROKKR just snaps right onto him.
Yeah, this is back-to-back time zone. This hard point, right, where Huntsman just get in, maybe too easily.
Yep.
And that 20-point advantage that they held for what felt like several minutes now has been blown wide open. Lead approaching 60. Another 5 in a row from Formal as he's 17-15. And looking for more action. He had decent shots across, but maybe got split between 2 players there with the aim assist, and Asim will punish him. But Røkkr now, they're running out of time to make this rally as Huntsman inching closer to closing out this map 4, closing out this series, and qualifying for the playoff bracket. That's a big thing we haven't even talked about yet. This is a qualification match, right? This gets you into tomorrow, gets you into that single elimination playoff bracket. Huntsmen a chance for another championship. ROKKR their first shot.
And it's almost like, yeah, Chicago maybe dropped a few maps, you go to a game 5, but it's like, you get to tomorrow in the semi. What's it matter? It doesn't matter at all.
Not at all. Now, who's that working all the way around the flank from ROKKR? I think it's ROKKR that's trying to work out mine cards. See if maybe he can disrupt from warehouse, because it might all come down to this hard point. It is ROKKR. He's going to get read like a book. He will drop.
It's a two-prong attack, and they don't want to win either. Finally, they're going to get the final 10 seconds. But Chicago with a chance to close this game out here at Warehouse. Minnesota were able to get in pretty early last time.
Silly with that dead silence pop, maybe the chance to make the play, but there's one more in deep behind him. It's RCDs, I think, that was playing in that deep pocket and shuts it down. Kill feed lights up green. One's going to be a team kill for Huntsmen, but they're still holding. Formal killing anyone and everything inside the point through walls, through teammates, just shutting it all down. 12 more points needed, they can close it out. Envoy's POV inside as he's looking to plant the dagger firmly into the back of ROKKR. Formal another 5 spree during this stretch as his M4 continues to go. Spawning out is ROKKR. Moving on is Huntsmen. They close it out in 4.
A much better hard point, I think, from Chicago right there. They're just so good at hills 3 and 4. Like, mine cart and cargo containers, it just feels like they earn so much time. When there's a 20-30 point lead for them, that's when they're bumping it to 70-80 points.
But I think you nailed it, though. Was it as clean as it could have been? No. Was it a little bit sloppy at times? Sure. But they're to Sunday.
Yeah, they're in the semifinal.
You're done playing for the day. You got to the semifinal. You did what you needed to do. Is the competition going to get better tomorrow? More than likely. But you got there. Well, I mean, honestly, your semifinal is going to be against a team likely like a Minnesota, unless FaZe falls short and somehow that ends up being a semifinal. I doubt it, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they might have, like, there's some very good teams in that other group, but I think we all think, you know, FaZe takes on London next. The way FaZe played, we imagine both those teams are going to be away from each other, setting up that potential final.
Well, Arcides was a beast all series long, especially that 14-kill search and destroy to dominate and get them back into the series, and we've got him on stage with Rich.
It's time for your instant reaction, brought to you by PlayStation. And just like Clint said, whether it was in the search or almost dropping 40 in the last one, you've definitely been showing up today. But overall, I think it's looked a lot harder for you guys, not just in this game, but throughout the entirety of the day. What's going on?
I think it's a lack of practice, and we're just lackluster all over the maps, especially hardpoint. S&D is okay, but the first map on Piccadilly, we got smoked, but I don't know. We're just going to go to the back and scrim a little more after today, but nothing we can do about it.
Do you think that's complacency at all? I mean, you looked so far ahead of everybody else to start things off, or is it maybe just the fact that people are starting to prepare for you?
I think it's frustration with us because we're not doing as good as we should, and we're just all getting frustrated and just kind of losing full, but like I said, just tomorrow's a new day and we'll start over.
And I want to say with you as well, I've always said this about you, like if I had to pick one player, I'd pick you first because I think you can play with anybody, right? And are you kind of the guy on this squad that needs to keep everybody level? Are you the guy that needs to bring it back when people start to tilt?
Yeah, I like to be that guy on the team just because it makes me feel comfortable, and I hope to make other people feel comfortable on the team just so everything's easy for us. But I tried to last series. I don't know if it was in listening, but I told everyone to calm down and relax, but we just got to do our thing.
FaZe definitely the target for you. Do you think right now, with the way you're playing, you'll be able to take down FaZe?
Not right now, but we'll get better.
All right, they got a little bit of time. We're going to be jumping to a break as well. When we return, we are going to be getting ready for the next series. Don't go anywhere.